I've been extremely lonely and kind of in my feelings recently. Like, I really want a girl in my life, man. Like, honestly, like, I really, really want a beautiful, nice, slim girl or just a girl to talk to, somebody to talk to, somebody to just text, somebody that I can see, somebody that can help me out of my stupor, can help me out of my depression, can help me out of my stress, and a girl that's gonna want to play video games with me on a Friday night where we just order some pizza, we order Domino's or we order Papa John's, or we just order some pizza or order some teriyaki bowls or something like that, and play video games and laugh with each other, smoke a little Mary Jane to the brain, and just like enjoy our lives, have cheesecake, go out, let's say it's late at night and we want to go to Denny's and get milkshakes and hamburgers, and or we want to go to, I don't know, just the beach at night or somewhere where we can just be with each other and love each other's company. I truly I truly can never feel like a confident man when something in my life is missing. There's a hole in my heart, there's a hole in my soul, and it's not something that can be easily fixed or easily achievable. When you don't have a woman in your life, and you haven't had a woman in your life for a very long time, or hell, at all, it does something to you, man. It's not right for a lot of us to be in this position. A lot of us are lonely as hell. A lot of us, we just want a girl to give us a hug. Like, I wish they had it like in Japan and in America, where you can just pay a girl to give you a hug. As pathetic as that sounds, it sounds pathetic. It does, right? But a lot of us, bro, we're touch starved. We haven't touched a girl in years, or we haven't touched a girl ever at all, and we're grown ass men. That's why when women come on here and say, "Oh well, pretty girls have feelings too," it's like, stop it. Those girls have so many options. A beautiful woman always has somebody that can kiss her rear end. A beautiful woman's struggles is not the same as an ugly man's struggles, or a man that's not genuinely attractive. It's just not. When you're a guy in this position, your struggles are a lot more harder and a lot more difficult than a girl. No one's going to come save a fully grown man. No one's going to say, "Oh, well, unless he's Jeremy Meeks, unless he's attractive." But for the most part, I'm talking about average people like us. There's no, your parents can't save you, your brother can't save you, your sister can't save you, your grandmother can't save you, your grandpa can't save you. Nobody can save you. You have to save yourself, right? And that's the thing about this existence. That's the thing about this thing that we call life. And when there's nobody there to really help you, no one there to give you a guidance, and you don't have nobody, like, it's the freak. It's so exhausting. It's so painful to go through this all alone. To go through being homeless. To go through having no money. To go through going crazy, hearing voices in your head, going through a lot of things that deteriorate your soul over a wide period of time. And then there's a myriad of other reasons why we're trapped in this perpetual cycle. Like, if you don't have any belief in yourself, it's hard to do anything. And then people say, "Oh, well, just forget about women and just focus on yourself." Bro, what do you think a lot of men are doing nowadays? A lot of men understand that a lot of women are just not worth the headaches, but deep down inside, a man wants a woman. A man wants a woman that he can call his own. A man doesn't want a woman that the whole neighborhood, the whole college, the whole football team, and everybody around the world can say, "Oh yeah, that's my girl too." You know? And it's like, damn, I thought this was something exclusive. I thought this was something good, right? This perpetual cycle of loneliness is different from a female to a male. A woman, she can be 500 pounds and find somebody that's going to be there for her. A man that's 500 pounds, if he doesn't have his parents or his family, he's pretty much stuck on the streets. You know, it's not a game to be homeless. It's not a game to be in poverty. It drives you insane. When you know you're a good person, you want the best for people, you generally like to be kind and respectful to people, you don't bother nobody, you don't mess with people, and that makes you a target. And then the day you really fight fire with fire, and you do the same thing that those people did to you, now you're the bad guy. But even though they were the one poking you with a stick first, and they were the one attacking you first, right? A lot of us, we don't have any family. We don't have any lovers. We don't have nothing. We have maybe our Xbox and our PlayStation, right? And we're undergoing extreme duress. These videos are not just no YouTube video. These videos are my venting. This is not me just talking out my ass. I can't stand this world. I can't stand that this God will put me around people who despise me, make me into a skin color configuration that causes irritation and annoyance to anybody who gives a visual to it. I'm judged before I even speak. Before I even have a chance to defend myself, they already made a judgment about me. And I've been going through this for years. I've been going through tears, facing my fears. Do you not know how painful it is to be somebody that actually has a talent and to be trapped at a 9 to 5 or trapped with nothing at all and being pulled up by the wind? Why couldn't I be the one that was chosen in the music industry? Why couldn't I be the one like a Kendrick Lamar to go far? Why couldn't it have been me? Because that evil, twisted, wicked demiurge is behind it all. I don't care what people think or not. I know the truth. I know the truth. And Schizo Dumps knows the truth too. Watch his channel. Yeah. YouTube Schizo Dumps and watch his channel. An excellent channel that speaks on Gnosticism and breaks down this matrix very good, clearly and concisely. Shout out to Schizo Dumps, man. But, okay. A lot of times, our problems come from the people we're forced to interact with. Have you noticed when you're really by yourself and you cut people away from you, that you get so much peace, but at the same time, you have that peace. You're like, damn, I got work in the morning. Damn, I got school in the morning. Damn, I got this in the morning. Oh, damn, I gotta go to that interview. Crap. Oh, damn, I just spilled. I spilled this milk on my shoes. Oh, crap, not clean. I want to go to an interview with milk spilled on my shoes. Oh, man. Oh, did I brush my teeth? Okay, I brush my teeth again. Okay, crap, I hop in the shower. You know, so many things you got to worry about. Meanwhile, a lion wakes up, uses the bathroom, goes to many of his wives, mates with them, makes cubs, goes on a hunt, maybe sleep throughout the day and does what it wants to do. Right? Would you rather live like a lion or a servant? A lion is a majestic creature. It roars across the damn safari, whatever the hell you want to call it. It roars across the plains. And everybody knows that's a lion and not to mess with it. But when you're a guy in this position, it's hard to feel any type of confidence, even if you do have minor accomplishments. Having a regular 9 to 5 job is not an accomplishment. So this is why when I see normies talking about, oh yeah, well, I have a job, at least I have a job. It's like you're bragging about being somebody else's servant. You're bragging about waking up every day and doing things that you don't want, and you're bragging about that. I pay my taxes, I pay my bills. So you're a good little servant, right? Serving your masters, serving people that is creating, artificial disasters all around you, and you're happy and proud about that. That's why I respect the young generation. I respect Generation Z. I respect the guys in their early 20s or mid 20s, the guys like, 16 years old to about 25, 28, and even some in their early 30s. I respect that age range because a lot of people are trying to become entrepreneurs. They're not trying to become an employee. They're trying to become an employer, and there's a difference. Because once you have power of your life through your finances, you're able to actually enjoy things. But the problem is, in order to get these finances, if you're not born rich, you have to go through so much psychological trauma, psychological damage that it breaks your mind. And then you don't want to do anything at all. How many people, feel drained after they come home from work? You got to put on this mask and act all fake, smile, try to make small talk with your coworkers and all that. I don't like making small talk with people. I want to talk about hyperdimensional physics. I want to talk about what's on the other side of reality. I want to talk about how can we get rid of the demiurge? How can we go to the pleroma? And what is the pleroma? Is the pleroma a place that we go to and then it just dissolves us and just become one with it? Because if that's the case, I don't want that neither. I want a realm where I can retain my consciousness, my memories. If I had any past lives, I want all my memories back. I want to know who I am as a person. I want to be able to be my own God. I want to create my own heaven, create my own angels, right? Why is that a bad thing? A good, loving God creates things that they can create, But a being that's the demiurge that knows that you have a divine spark inside you that he didn't create, you gotta understand. The reason why people hold on to the Bible so much, because this is not just in our lifetime. Hell, I was a religious zealot. You couldn't tell me anything bad about the Bible about, 15, 20 years ago, I was always talking about, praise Jesus and praise the Most High, keep his commandments, statutes, ordinances, and ways, the tribe of Judah, the black Hebrew Israelites and all that. I was deep into that stuff, bro. Deep. Though I read the Bible 3 times, really 4 times, but I didn't read like the last part of Revelation, so I already knew what it was, right? And like I used to take notes on the Bible, bro. Like I was a Bible scholar, pretty much, brother. I read the Apocrypha, all that, or the Apocrypha. I read all the missing books of the Bible. Excuse me, I read all that, right? And my conclusion is that the God of that Bible is evil. No way you're supposed to be a supreme being, but you introduce us to fear. I'm going to send you to hell forever and I'm going to burn this. It's like, whoa, you can't come out with a loving hand. You can't come out with a loving hug. How does a God say, my name is I am that I am, and my name is jealousy? You know, it's Christians that don't even know that's in the Bible. They're like, huh, I never read that in the Bible. Then you Google what I'm saying. Oh, wow, that's in the Bible. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm telling you, when I said, look, I don't be coming on here just making stuff up, homie. When I said I read that Bible, I'm talking from experience. I loved the Demiurge. I loved the Autoboss. I thought he was my real God and real father. Little did I know he was looshing me and screwing me over the whole time. I should be a multi-millionaire famous rapper, and I don't give a damn what you think. I shouldn't be in this position, trapped, being a quote-unquote loser, no car, no job, no woman, no children, not married. That's not normal. I never wanted a life like that. I want to be a rich and famous rapper and marry a girl that I liked in high school. Her name was Sudi. Yeah, I don't care if you know her. Who gives a fuck? That girl don't think about me, you know? Sudi, that was her name. Beautiful, beautiful Hispanic girl, you know? Now, her brothers didn't like me, but, you know, well, of course, you know, there's always that tension. If you're from California, you know what it is, you know what it's not, man. You know about the certain demographics and how, you know, whenever they see a person in my skin color configuration with a female of their skin color configuration and ethnic background, it seems to cause some type of turbulence, and that's all I would say. But yeah, I love that girl, you know, and not just hers. Plenty of girls I love, you know, like. It's freaking ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous, man. But I wanted to be rich and famous. So people say, that's a dumb idea. You know, most people don't make it. It's like, yeah. But I know I can make it. Everybody around me said I was going to make it. You understand? I'm different. I'm not your local whatever. You put me around the people in position, I'll be a millionaire in a year. You think I'm playing? You know, I built the channel from scratch while homeless and going crazy. People have stable lives and can't even build a channel. And the reason why I'm able to build channels and make videos is because my mind is schizophrenic. I have to vent every day or every other day. I have to vent and let this out. If not, you know, yeah. So, and my videos ain't the best quality because I'm homeless with nothing. So I'm trying my best. And the world still finds a way to try to take me down. And I'm supposed to be happy with it. I'm supposed to, well, at least you have a job. At least you have this. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a multi-millionaire. I want to live like David Dobrik. That's what I want, and that's what I desire. I desire fame and fortune. Some people don't, but I do because I've been through things in life that made me feel low. So I want to feel high. I've been through things in life that will make you go insane. I've seen demons. I've heard voices whisper my name in the dark. You think I'm playing? I'm tired of the perpetual lies and deception of this world. So no one's going to tell me about how I feel about my pain. These people talking crap would never survive a day in my shoes, and they wouldn't say a word to my face. A coward is something that I can't stand. And I can't stand a coward with a crown, such as the God of this realm. Limiting humans, limiting human innovation, making sure that we're distracted by earthly things, earthly pleasures. Since I didn't have no earthly pleasures like that, I want to be happy. I want girls that like me, that fall in love with me. I want to feel what Chad and Tyrone gets to feel because I felt so long the opposite. The depression, the isolation, being trapped and wanting to escape, but I can't escape because I don't have any money. Having the intelligence, having the propensity for creativity and trying to establish a business behind it, but not having anybody who believes in you. When you're trying to build an empire, and you just believe in yourself, it's difficult. But when you're like trying to build an empire like Alexander the Great, and you have your dad was Philip of Macedon, and you already have a standing veteran army and all that, it makes things a little bit easier, right? When you already have an established connection. But when you're starting from scratch as a man, you got to go out here as a man and build your empire, man, and it's hard when the job's not even paying enough. And people say, oh, well, why don't you get your CDL? Let me be quiet. And people I watched on the internet, and people that I've talked to in real life about CDLs, it's not all cracked up to what you think it is. Being on the road 24/7, some people, oh well, you can do this, and they're like, man, some people, I don't want to drive a truck. I want to do what I'm good at. I'm good at making music. I'm good at speaking. I'm good at articulation. I have the gift of articulation. I want to utilize my gifts and talents and attributes and create a life for myself that way. Why is that such a hard thing? Because the demiurge, because there's things that you can't see that are manipulating us, man. You can't tell me it's not. Have you ever seen on YouTube where they have those reptilian eyes? You see like that alien creature next to Obama. And this is before AI became really mainstream. It's about 12, 13 years ago, before everybody said, that's AI, everything's AI. Now everything's AI because the government told you about AI, but the government probably been using artificial intelligence integration since the 70s, and you would never have known, right? So that shows me the intelligence of the modern person. They have to get everything vetted by the people in power, the people in positions of power, wealth, and influence. Me personally, man, I like studying and doing my own analyzation and soul revitalization myself. I like to read books that make you intelligent, that make you think outside the box, that make you really question reality. What world do we find ourselves in, for real, guys? Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that we all do the same thing. There's billions of people, yet everybody has to work a job and pay bills. Why can't we have like a sky city? How come we can't have like an ocean water city underwater? That's not classified, but have like something that regular people can go to. How come we can't have inventors besides NASA build spaceships in their backyard? Or are you scared that we're going to go to the space and find something that you guys are lying about? Is that what you're scared of? Huh? Right? How come something's keeping our minds distracted and not together? Why are we always fighting? Why are we always engaging in some sort of conflict where there's what's crazy? And this is one thing I say about people of my skin color configuration. They love drama. I'm sorry. People of my skin color configuration, they love drama. And I don't like that. I like peace, quiet, and tranquility. I don't like drama. I don't like, trying to fight somebody, trying to do this. I'm actually a really peaceful person, right? It's just sometimes when I get angry, I get physical, and that was my pet peeve when I was younger. You know how many fights I've gotten into? That's why I say, why don't we just fist fight? Let's just see who wins that. I guarantee I won't lose. I'm not the biggest and I'm not the baddest, but most of these people, who be talking crap, these people, you look at them in real life, they can't even lift weights, you know. And who was it? Who said that? I think it was Little Reese in that one song. He's like, and I'll use that 30 if he a little bigger, you know. But yeah, Free Dirt too, man. Free Dirt, that's my favorite rapper. But yeah, the isolation, man. When you get older, you start to realize that, damn, all my best years are behind me, and they were my worst years. So if all my worst years are supposed to be my best years, then what does it mean about my future? It means my future was screwed before it even started. It means that I'm being targeted. And I know it's not just me. There's people on here that are listening to this video now that feel the same way. Like, bruh, something's wrong with this life. It feels like I'm being targeted. It feels like something does not want me to be happy at all. Like, it does not want me to smile. It doesn't want me to, have hope. It doesn't want me to have joy. It wants me to be broken down. And I'm just like, why? Why do we always have to face this bull crap? Why can't we just be happy? Why is there always something? And then, what makes it worse is when your family and your friends or associates, they start to kind of distance themselves from you. Like when you become a quote unquote loser or a guy that's not going to become rich and successful, and people finally realize, hey, this guy ain't going to become nothing good in life, then everybody turns their back on you. You know how many friends I had when I was rapping? Everybody thought I was going to make it. And I had girls in my face because they thought I was going to make it. These were the same girls that were just, talking crap about me 5 minutes ago until they heard me rap. You know, I never forget it. It was this one black girl. Her name was Shawnee. I don't care. I'm saying names. I don't care. I'm raw. Would you gonna look up Shawnee? Go ahead. you know, you know. But she was just a female of my skin color configuration. I remember this one time. At the one time, the homie Eric was having like a little kickback. I think it was him, the homie Nick Brown. And they had like, these are like popular people. They're having like a kickback, and we were by the basketball courts at school, and they were talking. I was right there, and she was like, "I hope you're not bringing him because he's just gonna crash the party, and not in a good way." And she rolled her eyes and walked off. And they looked at me like, "Hey, what was that about? What'd you do to her?" I didn't do anything to her. Like she had, and that's one thing I have. That's one thing I can't stand, and it's one thing that I dislike. Is that certain females of a certain visual appearance, they seem to want to target people like me, and we're of the same visual appearance, and you guys know what I'm talking about. As Savvy Guy says, brothers, we know what we're talking about when it comes to sisters. We know sisters like the King Vons, long live King Von. King Von, one of my favorite what was my favorite rapper when he was alive and still is. I have a bunch of favorite rappers, right? And that's what women of my visual decadence likes, right? They like that. They like to live that fast life, that gangster life, that life of deadly thrills and adventure. Like you're playing like Nathan Drake. They like that. They don't like a guy who just want to be peaceful, quiet, come home to a nice, quiet house, play some video games, talk, laugh, and just they don't want to come home to that, right? And when you see other men of different types of skin color configuration, I'm trying to be. The reason why I can't be raw, guys, is I have to talk within YouTube's guidelines, rules, and regulations. And it makes me just because it's just like YouTube is so strict nowadays. It's not how it was when I first got it started. I know it ain't the real Black Pill villain when I'm going off. I'm talking about the truth. You know what I mean? I'm cursing here and there. I'm talking about bops and thoughts, and like I miss that too, bro. I want to do that so bad, but YouTube is just. You got to be very careful. You can't say what you want on YouTube like that. You got to follow all the rules, policies, guidelines, and regulations. This is why I'm trying to, because you have to follow that. But when you see other guys of different types of ethnicities and you see how the women treat them with respect, dignity, they have a traditional type of backbone or background. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but it's more stronger in their culture than it is in some other cultures, right? Like in mine specifically, because the degradation of certain skin color configurations has been going on for hundreds of years now, to the point where it's hard to establish any type of economic base. And a lot of these females have attitudes. Like, and they look just like me, but they have an attitude, and they get mad when a person like me wants to go to Germany and find a German princess. I want a German princess because she's beautiful and she's feminine. She's skinny. She cleans her behind, like she doesn't smell like a hippopotamus. She knows how to use the bathroom and wipe her behind clean and hop in the shower and make sure she's clean before she puts her panties on, right? She's clean. She has good hygiene, right? Women should have, I feel like women should have impeccable hygiene. A woman shouldn't be stinking, especially when it's the time of her month. She needs to be taking showers regularly and cleaning her behind, And when you have certain people that they eat like a beluga whale, they're unhealthy, and then they get mad when you look at women from different types of backgrounds and different types of cultures, because these women of different cultures are just beautiful. They have natural beauty and they have natural femininity. They're not trying to be a man. A man doesn't want to come home to two men in his house where he has to be a man and then he has to wrestle his own woman to fight for the manhood of the house. Like, no. This is why a lot of brothers are going, and getting them a beautiful snow queen. You know, somebody somebody from Germany, Austria, Italy, Bavaria, England. And I know if you see my post that I just posted, but you can see these brothers, like some of them are chocolate. Like, I'm like, whoa. And he got him a pretty, beautiful snow angel. And I'm like, wow, like she's a beautiful angel. Like, how did you even get that? You know? And then you go on certain websites, you're like, oh, well, that's how. You go see some adult explicit material, you're like, well, okay. He hitting it from the side. He hitting it from the back. He going crazy, He's not doing with like he's not doing with what little Jimmy or little Leon can do. Like, Rebecca, I think tonight we're gonna make love, and he's doing like she's only allowing him just to hit it just so she can get like some money or something. And she's like just lying there, and he's like he thinks he's laying it down too. And then she meets Darnell, or she meets Tyrone, and well, it starts to foam like the ocean, and those moans cause a commotion. Man, so yeah, man, you gotta, yeah, man, like a lot of us, bro, we're lonely, but we don't just want any female. Like, yeah, I may be at the bottom. I may be at the bottom of the bottom, but I don't just want a big old hippopotamus, and I don't want somebody who's old enough where she has so much emotional deficiencies, you know? It's like if I can't win until I'm wealthy, right? I was just watching Savvy Guy's video. He's talking about if he was a millionaire. I'm like, bro, I agree so much. If I was a millionaire, these women would be approaching me left and right. If I was a millionaire, how many girls be hitting me up in my comment section, like, hey, oh, you feeling lonely? We can talk. What's your email or what's this? And I give you my number there. We can talk and blah 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 blah. Imagine if I was a popping rapper. How many girls be in my DMs on Instagram and on Twitter or X, whatever they want to call it. How many girls be hitting me up trying to hang out, trying to kick it. I watch your videos and I kind of relate to you. No, you don't. You don't relate. You can't relate to this. You can't. Do you want to commit seppuku at times? Do you feel like your mind is about to burst and break, and all these in this ocean of emotion is deep inside of you? Do you feel like sometimes you don't even feel like yourself? Sometimes you don't even want to be alive. Sometimes you don't even want to be around people. Females are very social creatures. They love talking and gossiping. Humans, period, are social creatures, but you know how females are. That's why when you see grown men acting like females, it lets you know what kind of men those people are. Especially people that you know in real life that act like females towards you. It's like, okay, you showed me your true colors. I will never acknowledge you again, because the things you did to me, I would have never done to you. Never. I would have never had a family member that's kicked out, that's in a bad position and try to make his life even harder because I feel some certain way. You're lucky I didn't beat you. You can't even say the word, but you're lucky. You're lucky. You're lucky. You guys have to excuse me. I'm a schizophrenic under immense pressure in life. A man that had dreams, but his dreams failed in front of his face and got people, trying to infiltrate his base. I'll just say that. All I ever wanted, man, was to be successful. All I wanted was the Bentley Coupe, Lamborghini, and Ferrari, and the $1 million mansion like Floyd Mayweather, and a beautiful, beautiful girl straight from Germany, beautiful blue eyes and golden hair, a nice rump on her as well, you can see that booty jiggle as she walking in her booty shorts. I smack that butt from behind, she's sitting there in the kitchen, cooking some food. I'm like, baby, I'm hungry for something else. Shit, let me eat that. You know what I mean? For real, man. And start hitting it from the back, and right there in the, I don't care who, right there in the kitchen, just right there. Start hitting it from the back in the kitchen. Yeah. Rolling up some good Mary Jane to the brain. Bro, you guys, we missed out on so much on life, guys. I was talking to the homie the other day, or an associate. I say home, like, it's crazy. People think like, I don't want to call them associates because really they're friends, but they're friends that I don't that we're not in physical contact no more. We don't talk every day like we used to. I just have a friend group where we all talked every single day. Like how I'm talking now, I'm saying the exact same things I would say to them about life, you know. And we all and I had one friend, you know, he would have been an excellent content creator, man, because he was making videos, you know, back in Facebook days. I think it was Facebook. Yeah, I forget. I'm so old. I didn't see so many so many social platforms come and go. You know, that's happens. You get too old. But one of them old social media sites, he would write his post and people would love it. He would have done great on YouTube. You know, but last time I heard about him, he got strung out on heroin. Unfortunately, I'm like, why would you even try something like that, bro? I stick with the green, and that's it. Only the green can join my team, man. You know, the money and the good Mary Jane. You know, everything else, I don't know, right? I don't even like alcohol. Like, you know, when it comes to alcohol, I do not like alcohol. And plus, when I get off alcohol, I get toe up, you know, But I don't know, man. This matrix that we're in, bro, it's really odd when you see somebody else get a girl so easily, and they have all the things that you can only dream of. Yet you try your best to try to just fit in, try to be normal, and life keeps reminding you that you're nothing, you're a loser, you're a failure, you're never going to amount to anything and all that. It's like, okay, what does it mean I'm never going to amount to anything? Because if I get a regular job, if I go back to school, if I abandon all my dreams and hopes, it's going to be hard. But let's say I do that, right? Okay, so now am I magically some success? You know how many people that are, you know, you know, hell, you got people that are lawyers and they feel like the job that they have that they don't feel fulfilled. They get paid $100,000, $200,000, and they feel like they're missing something out in life. They quit being a lawyer, but they have their money saved up, and then they have investments and stuff, so they could quit and be a neat for a bit, and then they find themselves. They start painting. They start like what was that? I was just watching the channel the other day. I forgot her name. I know her face, but I forgot her name. It was just this one girl, like she was a doctor, I believe. Um, I think an eye doctor, an optodermist. I think that's what it's called. You know, an eye doctor. She was an eye doctor, and she did the eye surgery, right? So people got cataracts in her eyes. She would do surgery. She said, you know, after doing so many surgeries and doing that and seeing it, she realized that a lot of people have a lot of ailments, you know, and like um pretty much like why would a god design a body that's so frail? You know, because he's not the real one. You know, he has power. Yes, he is a god, but he's not the god. He is the god of these realms. But she was saying like how she's seen that and just like she came to this revelation and she started getting into Gnosticism and started learning that, hey, that makes a whole lot of sense that this was created by the evil God. And it makes the devil, okay, the devil's the bad guy. Only him who gave power to the devil. Look at the book of Job. Did he not make a bet with the devil on Job's life? What God plays with your life like that? And also, there's another channel that I want you guys to watch and check out. It's a channel called Mind Shift. Mind Shift with Brandon. Man, that's a good channel. You know, he be breaking it down, you know, and it's very interesting. But yeah, but this girl, she was talking about how like she quit being an eye doctor and she started just painting and drawing and stuff like that. And she said her soul felt so much free, even though her family kind of looked down on her a little bit, but she had money, so they didn't really trip that much. But they were like, why would you stop being a doctor to be a painter? And it's like, well, there was somebody in the last 100 years, if they would have let him be a painter, maybe, you know, something would have never happened, even though it was planned from the jump by certain people, you know? But, you know, there was somebody in the last 100 years that if they just let that man be a painter, just let him be a painter and just accepted him at school, maybe history would have been a little different, right? But nope, they want to be, they want to be harsh. And so, you know, certain things happen. But yeah, she was just saying that how her, and that's somebody that was a doctor, how her life is way more better now that she gets to do what she really wants. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, how can life be such a prison where you doing what you really want to do in life is seen, is frowned on. You have everybody around you, oh man, you can't do that. Well, that's impossible. You can't never. It's because they never lived their dream. Let me tell you something, young men. Young men, this is for young men who have a chance. My videos are a warning to you. You better take what I say seriously, or you're gonna find yourself in this hell as well, and it's not gonna be pretty. Don't let nobody tell you something about what you can or can't do when they have failed their whole life. Don't let nobody who failed their dreams and failed their ambitions tell you what you can and what you can't do. And you're young. You're in 25 years old. You're 26, you're 27, you're 28, you're 29, you're 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. People may call that old, but you're still young enough to make some type of small difference. It's not going to be, I'm not going to give you no cope, or some hope or whatever. I'm just going to tell you that if you really focus your mind for real, you know, and if you have to have the talent and you have to have the right people around you. But if you focus that, you probably can accomplish it, man. You can do it. The problem is we're dealing with all types of evils that don't want us to be successful, right? But don't let people try to persuade you and tell you something like, don't let people tell you, oh, that's impossible. You can't do that. And okay, well, what have you done? If somebody who's never accomplished anything is trying to tell you what you can and can't do and they're calling you a loser, okay, where's your accolades? Where's your badges of honor, right? And it's always these older guys too that be saying, "Oh man, that's impossible. You can't do that." Okay, well, have you accomplished your dream? Now, go to somebody like Taz Taylor. Go to somebody who made it in life, somebody who had a dream and had ambition and they made it, and see what they'll tell you, right? Go to somebody who's successful, somebody that actually, go to Corey Kenshin, go to PewDiePie, go to people who made it, and go to David Dobrik, go to Mr. Beast, how their mindset is different. Like, yeah, man, you just believe it, you can achieve it, right? Their mindset is totally different, right? Now, I know that the demiurge decides who makes it and who doesn't, but still, the mindset, having those energies around you can help you exponentially, can help you tremendously. Having the right people around you can change your life. It can change your destiny. And your destiny wouldn't be used as weaponry. Like your destiny, a lot of us were destined to be in a certain position. We're destined to be economically stagnant. We weren't blessed with a lot of intelligence, relevance. We don't have people that care about us. We don't come from a loving, caring family. We're homeless. We're homeless. We're homeless. We don't have a place to lay our head. I don't think people understand what it means to be quote unquote black pilled, but not really. People are black pilled, but they got a place to live. That's why they're able to do all this stuff online because they got a place they can lay their head, right? They don't know how I feel like to be in my shoes. They wouldn't survive a day being in my shoes, going through the things I go through. That's why, even though I'm old, I'll never give up rapping. Because the day I make it as a rapper, it's over. I'm rapping my ass off. I ain't playing. The little songs I've been doing here is just whatever. But when I get serious for real, I'm going in. And, I'm not holding back either. I'm making Gnostic rap, Gnosticism. I'm making black pill rap and Gnosticism rap. Two new genres. Might as well just combine them, right? Because they both kind of, talk about the truth. Both the same, really. The black pill is what's real, right? And I know for a fact, from my understanding that whoever is running this world, whatever God, whatever being, whatever entity is an enemy to humanity and it's causing us a lot of insanity. How much pain do we have to go through before enough is enough? Tell me, what's one of the worst events in your life you can remember? I got multiple, not just one. What does it do to the human psyche, to the human mind, to the human spirit? What does it do when one time you were at your age zenith, you were at your pinnacle, you were at your greatest you can be at 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And then in those prime years, you watch some of the most beautiful girls in their most fertile years. Girls that are 22, 23, 24, 25, girls that are 26, 27. These are girls in their fertile years. They're supposed to be having children. And these girls did everything in their power not to even give you a hug, not to even look your way without frowning. And you've been going through it for years, man. How is it supposed to make us feel? How? And now you're older, you don't have no type of wealth, you don't have no investments because nobody taught you about investments. Nobody taught you that you can invest. I was never taught investments. I was never taught financial acuity. Never. Never. I was never taught how you should focus on your finances. But there's other, like, how can I say this? There's certain people with the shekels that they teach their children how to manage shekels. Okay, this is a shekel. This is how you make people work for you. You don't work for nobody else. People work for you. And they teach people that imagine they taught us that from a young age, that you work for yourself. If I had a kid right now, say I had an 8-year-old or a 5-year-old, I would tell them to even at a young age, because it has to start young, man. I tell them at a young age, you like playing video games. Why don't you make a small little YouTube channel, right? Upload that. Try to get monetized on that first. That's going to teach you about owning a digital asset, because a monetized YouTube channel is what's called a digital asset. And it takes a while for it to actually make a lot of money because you have to keep on making videos. People got to be interested in your videos. People got to be, you know what I mean? So it takes a while. But once you build that up, that becomes a digital asset. Like any other asset, it's something that can generate you wealth where you don't have to be at a job every day. So I'll teach my kids that. And then I'll teach them about, businesses, business equity, teach them about, how to turn their talents and passions into something. But that will require me to be successful, right? I can't teach nobody how to be a millionaire if I don't have if I don't even have a dollar. But then you got people that are real millionaires and they're not there saying, join my class and all that. Because everybody who says that they get rich quick schemes, it's all scam. People at the top don't want competition. So why would somebody at the top tell you about how to really get rich for real? Instead, they're going to tell you little bits and pieces that really don't make any sense for your current situation, because everybody's situation is customizable. Everybody's situation is in a certain position. And that's just the way it is. Our hell and the things we go through was customized just for us. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed how certain guys are able to get girls so easy? They're able to just be confident. They're able to just talk. They're able to just get their driver's license so easy. And not only that, it's not just about getting your driver's license. It's about the freedom and the manhood that gives you when you own your car. When you have a car, when somebody makes you mad, you just hop in your car and drive off. That's freedom. A lot of us, we're neats. We were neats. Like we were grown men, but we had the mindset of a teenager or the mindset of a child. A lot of us, But different thing about me is that when I was in my room doomed, I was reading books. I'm reading the books that Terence McKenna was saying to read. I'm reading stuff like that. I'm reading magical books. I'm reading things about, famous philosophers. Like I'm reading Plato, right? I'm reading Marcus Aurelius. I'm reading things that educate not only my mind but my spirit. And they give me a sense of dignity, and they give me a remedy of all this pain that has occurred inside of me. I truly wish, man, that a lot of us can be in a good position where we can win, where we can have the life that we deserve. I said it. A lot of us, we deserve happiness. Don't let nobody tell you what you do and don't deserve, because there's billionaires that don't deserve it and they have it. There's a billionaire right now that slept all day today, and he made over $100 million, if not more, in a day by sleeping. Yeah, there's people that worked all day from 4 a.m. and they didn't get home till about 12 p.m. and they got to get up a few more hours and go to work at 4 a.m. again. And they probably didn't even make 1,000, right? Or barely made 1,000. Do you see how unfair this world is? Let me ask you a question. If you were God, if you had the power, the ability, and the agility to create anything that you want, any reality, is this the reality that you would create with your infinite wisdom and infinite power? Or this is a reality you would create when you're jealous of the divine spark and you trap the divine spark in human flesh bodies, and you only seen how the flesh body looked by looking up to the high pleroma and seeing the true God and how he looks like, or one of his many images. Then you stole that image and then told the people that you're the God and there's no other God and I'm a jealous God. Why would a God be jealous? Who are you jealous of? The monad? This is exactly, precisely, and concisely that we have to look at history a lot differently. And like I said, man, I don't believe narcissism is 100% the truth either, right? Because there's a lot of holes in it too. It's like, how come we're not being helped? And maybe that's my lack of understanding, because it kind of explains it in narcissism how everything's based on frequency. And Sophia can't just come into this world. The monad can't just come into this world because this is the demiurge's world. It's like their frequencies can't match the frequency of this world, meaning that they literally can't enter it, because their spirits are just more higher. Their frequency is a lot higher. It's interesting, you know. I think it was Nikola Tesla that said, I think it was Nikola Tesla, I could be wrong, but I think it was Nikola Tesla that said, if you want to understand the world, understand energies and frequencies. And we see what happened with Nikola Tesla. They got rid of him, right? I'm telling you, man, this world is it's devastating. It's truly devastating that we're forced into an existence that we don't know nothing about. And what makes it bad is, like, this is not our creation. This is the creation of somebody else. Like it's like we're inside somebody else's video game. Imagine a bad video game. Imagine a horror game that you just don't like. It's just a bad game, but also it has horror elements. Or imagine this. Imagine being trapped in Resident Evil forever. Like every time you beat the game, you got to start over and do the same thing again forever. Every day you got to wake up and go to your 9 to 5 forever. Every single day, every single time, every day. Imagine having a life like that, man. Just imagine it. Can you see now how this world is designed to make us go insane? I just, I really wish I was a rich multimillionaire, honestly, and I can have everything that I ever imagined and ever dreamed of. Because this world is just evil, wicked, twisted, sick, and sadistic. And I honestly don't want anything to do with this world. Honestly, I wish I was born into a different dimension.